Hi, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the LOCUS Golden Hour podcast. My name is Kristina.
And I'm Lina.
And we are your hosts. So, LOCUS Golden Hour is all about sharing stories, advice, tips, all things surrounding university and student life. So, we have a lot to talk about and a lot to share.
Yeah, and before we get started, I think since this is our first episode, you should probably get to know us a little bit better. So maybe we can start out with introducing ourselves a bit more and maybe sharing a little bit about some of our favorite memories or experiences.
Yeah. What's your favorite? Oh, before we get into that, actually, what program are you in, Lina?
I'm in my third year of the BBA program or the Business Administration program. I'm minoring in French and hoping to concentrate in marketing. I'm also the virtual programming coordinator for Locus on the Waterloo campus. And I'll pass it off to you now, Kristina.
Okay. I am going into my third year of health administration. I'm hoping to do a minor in leadership. And I am the virtual program coordinator for the Brantford campus. So yeah, Lina and I are partners on this thing. We're sort of running this podcast and our Twitch channel as well. So there's a lot to look forward to this year.
We are definitely coming in hot with all this virtual programming for you guys, and we hope that you're just as excited as we are for all of this new content that we're going to create.
Yay, it's so exciting. So there's like a lot of new things happening this year. Well, because last year was quite different with everything being online, right? And we're not entirely sure what's happening with if things are going to be in person or whatnot this year. But I don't know, like we were going to talk about how we can start off strong, right? Regardless of what happens this year. So yeah, I guess we can get into that. Some things academically, some things socially.
Yeah, I think, I don't know about you, Christina, but personally, I was kind of scared. In my first year, I was like, I didn't know what to expect. I was like nervous, but very, very excited, like super duper excited. But I think like going into it, like you obviously like try to do research, you don't really know what to expect. And so I guess the first few weeks are just kind of trying to get a sense of what's gonna happen and hopefully start off on a good note, right?
Yeah. Like I remember the months leading up to moving to Brantford for school and everything. I was trying to watch YouTube videos and get more information on Laurier. And I lived on residence, so I searched up what the residence rooms looked like and stuff. But like you were a
Mhm.
Locus student, right?
Yeah, I feel like I didn't do that much research, which on my part, like that was my fault. But I remember coming onto campus. I never got a tour of the campus, which is really funny to me. I just knew I wanted to go to Laurier. Like I just knew I like loved my program. I just loved Laurier in general. So I just didn't even need to go, which I'm glad I ended up really liking the campus because I can just imagine like I just end up hating the campus, but it's really great and I love it so much. But I remember coming onto campus on September 1st. It was like I think orientation was starting and I was moving into my apartment off campus and I toured it myself with my friends and I was just like, whoa, this is huge. Like the buildings are huge. And by the way, like the Laurier's University, both on the Brantford and Waterloo campus, are not that big compared to other universities. It's like a medium-sized campus with like a medium amount of people. So I just thought that was really funny because like I thought it was like huge and it is pretty big and you need to get used to it. But yeah, I think like just like not knowing what to expect is like that kind of nervousness that gets everyone usually.
Yeah, and like even though Laurier's campuses are like on the smaller side of university, still like so big compared to high school.
Oh yeah, for
So
sure.
there's a lot. And I remember all the people moving in because like there were move-in times for residents and whatnot. But
Mhm.
seeing so many people, everyone was scared. Everyone is
Mhm.
nervous. But like that's what makes it all okay because everybody's equally as nervous.
Exactly, exactly. Everyone wants to make friends. Everyone's nervous. Everyone's excited. So I think it's nice that you know that everyone's in the same boat, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like for the people listening, whether you're going to be attending virtually or you're living like near campus or whatever, like everybody's nervous. Everybody's nervous to make new friends, meet new people. but
Mm-hmm.
you will find your place. Like everything
Exactly.
just falls into place eventually.
Exactly. And I think what I love about Laurier though is even though it seems like a big campus or a medium-sized campus, like usually I would see someone I knew walk like just by walking to class or even in Zoom, like I see like a familiar name or familiar face. So I feel like it's really nice because the community's pretty tight knit, I would like to say.
Yeah, I think so. Like for like some of my friends that I've spoken to at other universities, they don't really talk to their classmates as much. But
Hmm.
especially on the Brantford campus, I feel like when you walk past people, it's always like you nod at each other. It's almost kind
Yeah.
of like high school, where you do see people and you recognize faces. And also because the Brantford campus is like you can, if you speed walk, you can walk across the whole thing in like 5 minutes. So
That's I feel like that's nice. And speaking about, the community and everything, how do you, I guess our topic today is about starting off strong. I think a big worry can be, making friends. So Christina, do you have any advice for incoming Golden Hawks on like how do you make friends coming in, you know?
yeah, okay. It's for me, it was like not exactly difficult, but it's because I'm really introverted and you're like a very introverted person too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember telling myself and going in when I moved in, like I have to put myself out there. I have to
Uh-huh.
say yes more. I have to
Yes.
like when you have those first conversations with new people, because you're gonna meet so many new people, like ask for their Instagram or ask like for their number or something because
Mm-hmm.
like those are the friends that I have like stuck with where I
Yes.
took the first step to be like, hey, we should talk more than just like small talk at the beginning of the year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
think like um I was like really afraid, but taking that step definitely helped.
Yeah, for sure. I
And
think like
yeah.
getting out of your comfort zone, right? I know like as an introvert, like both of us are introverts, it's so hard, but like I think like knowing that like everyone's in the same spot, like they want to get to know you too. And so like I remember in person I would just like really I'd be like, Lina, you got this, hype myself up, and then I'd turn to the person next to me and say, hi, my name's Lina, like nice to meet you, like what's your name? I like tried to do that in every single class. And I remember like this is really funny. I have a funny story, but
Please
um
share.
in my econ class, so I'm in the BBA program and it's a mandatory class to take econ, and this is a lecture full of like 600 people. Okay, so I knew no one in this class, so I'm sitting in this big lecture hall, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. I turn to the person next to me. I'm like, hey, like my name is Lina, whatever. It's fine. I asked for his number because I wanted a buddy in class just in case like I missed something or if we wanted to like do homework, I don't know, share answers, whatever. So I asked for his number, I got his number, whatever. I feel like it's still in my phone. We ended up never texting each other ever again, and I've never seen him ever again. So to the boy who like was nice to me and talked to me on the first day, thank you so much because I actually really appreciate it. But I also have a success story, so you know what? I never saw him again, and that's totally okay. You don't have to be friends with everyone you meet during a week or in class. But then I do have success stories for you guys. Don't worry. In my accounting class, I kind of did the same thing with this girl I was sitting beside, and she's still my friend today. We're in third year. We still
Aw.
talk. We're really good friends. I think like I guess it was like a smaller class, and we gone out to like different events together and like went for dinner and food. So like I feel like getting to know someone outside of just your classroom setting might be nice. But
Hmm.
yeah, like I think trying to put yourself out there, whether it's successful or not, like you'll find a person, you'll find a friend if you
Yeah.
just keep trying and you just put yourself out there.
Yeah. And like I know it's like hard to not have too many expectations going in, like with movies or whatever you hear like stories from people where they're like, yeah, I met my lifelong best friend on the first day of like orientation week and like
uh,
people are like, oh, and then we went to each other's weddings in the future, whatever. I was so caught up with trying to find my lifelong best friend right when I
uh,
moved to school. But then I realized like it takes time to build friendships like that. It's not going to be like an instant click all the time. So like
exactly.
um, even if it's awkward to ask for someone's number or Instagram or be like, hey, we should hang out outside of class sometime, like it all pays off. And even if a
For
friendship doesn't
sure.
happen right away, they're going to happen. So,
Exactly. I definitely agree with that. And kind of speaking on the other side with virtual classrooms, I feel like you can't turn to like you can't like turn to someone beside you because they're not beside you. But I think virtually another good way to make friends is definitely getting involved.
yes. Like in my first year, like we were both in the first year leadership program, right? So,
Hmm.
for those of you who don't know, the first year leadership program is basically like well, it's a program where there's like a bunch of councils that run events for other first year students. So I was in one called Art Hawks on the Brantford campus. So we hosted things like open mics, and we partnered with the other councils to do like haunted Halloween houses and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
that was in person, and we like met up every week, but that also continued virtually last year when things were online for those incoming first years. So they got to meet on Zoom virtually, they got to form those friendships and stuff like that. How was
Yeah,
your experience in
exactly.
FYLP?
I had such an amazing time. I was on my Locus House Council. And so I know our councils work a bit differently on Brantford and Waterloo, but it's very similar. I was a community representative, so I sent out emails to my community, tried to hype up all of our events. I helped plan these events too. And so I just remember like most of my friends were in my Locust House Council. I just think I got to know them really well. And like I was just, I don't know, it was just such a passionate group of people. And even if you weren't on council, I felt like you got to meet a bunch of people in the Locust program living off campus. And it was just such a really good time. I actually, one of my best friends, I met her through council. She's also in my program. So yeah, I was just really thankful because it definitely helped me develop friendships. And then also, I really liked developing my leadership skills just because I
Mm-hmm.
think FYLP is all about, leadership and learning new skills and being able to kind of get out of your comfort zone and try new things.
Yeah, yeah. Like I feel like I learned a lot. Not only did like I meet a lot of people, but I learned a lot with how to talk to people in general and how to
Mm,
lead. And I know like I was I had some students last year that were in my community that were in FYLP. Like I had one on the House Council and Art Hawks as well. And they said it was like the one of the best decisions they made in first year because they got
yeah.
to meet people and they had their own like group of friends there too. So that makes me really happy.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, one of my favorite memories from first year was Hawk Weekend, or the Brantford counterpart is the Golden Hawk Challenge.
Yeah.
And that was just such a fun weekend. Like all the residences and all of Locust gets together. We battle it out through all these different games. I know we did it virtually and it was super fun because we were also OCAs last year. And we got to kind of attend as an OCA, and I had a blast as an OCA. I just want to keep going every single year. And so it's just like, I guess, like, first of all, I love cheering. I know some people do not like cheer offs or like screaming their heads off, but I love cheering. So like there's a lot of cheering, there's a lot of different games to play, trivia, like you have to work as a team to try to get as many points and stuff. You have like a lot of spirit. And it's just like such a fun time. It's like
Yeah.
in February when everyone's, I guess, more comfortable and you kind of got to know your community or your residents.
Yeah. Like I'm not a cheer person because I just get shy of like being too loud or whatever.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But I still cheered at events like Golden Hawk Challenge, and like I participated my butt off because
Yes.
it was fun. Like I like I'm more on the shy side. But then when we had those events, like I remember we did like a capture the flag thing, and I don't
Mhm.
remember what we did virtually, but I I was like I can't not participate. Like I'm gonna miss out. Like this is so much
Uh-huh.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's even like events leading up to the Hawk Weekend Challenge sometimes. I don't know if Brentford does the same, but we usually do like preliminary events where you're like trying to get like a leg up for the event. It's almost like an amazing race, like it's a whole like game show. Like there's a different theme every year. Like it's this huge event, and I definitely recommend going if you're in your first year, whether it's going to be online or virtually.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a highlight. Like one of like, you know, in Inside Out, there's like core memories.
Yes.
Like being in FYLP and then like Golden Hawk Challenge, core memories.
Yes, yes, that's so funny. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. Core memories to our Laurier careers.
Speaking of like, really good memories, do you have like maybe an experience like inside the classroom or like in a club that you really enjoyed outside of the Golden Hawk Challenge?
Hmm. Um, there's a lot to choose from because I met like so many cool people. Even if I don't talk to them too much anymore, like
Mm-hmm.
I still had good memories with them. Like, um, oh, I remember in orientation week, um, there's a day where you could go and talk to professors,
Yeah.
and they gave out free food, so that was great. I remember like being so nervous and scared, but then they had mac and cheese, and I love mac and cheese, even though I'm lactose intolerant. So I was eating the mac and cheese, and I was sitting on like the courtyard. Um, and then one of my friends, he's my friend now, came up to me and was talking to me about what program I was in and stuff. And, you know, it was just generic small talk. But like, you know, when you like zoom out of a moment and you're like, I'm making a new friend, I'm sitting on a field, I'm eating
Yes.
mac and cheese, and I'm at a new school. And it's like another core memory where I was like, even though I was nervous, I was like, this is going to be okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. I
Yeah.
love that. I think like looking back, like although we were really nervous, like we get to look back on all these memories, our core memories as we call them, and kind of see like we've come a long way for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like virtually, um, as like we were OCAs last year, I definitely made more connections with other Locus OCAs when we were planning events and such. Like
Yeah.
even when we had movie nights and maybe we didn't have too many students show up, we still like socialized and talked, and yeah, that was
For
fun too.
sure. Yeah, I think, virtually like meeting people can be a challenge, but it's not impossible. It's never impossible. I feel like you're meeting new people like almost every day in university. It's kind of weird to think about that. Like there's always a new face or someone new you can connect to or even like get to know deeper because like you can know someone, but like actually getting to know them is kind of different, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then in breakout rooms too. I know some people don't like breakout rooms, but when
Hmm.
you're in a Zoom class and you get split into breakout rooms, like I always ask for their Instagram too.
Oh yeah.
Like in case, you know, also like you feel like you need to ask something about the class, but then
Mhm.
you just like start sending posts to each other. And then you're like,
Memes.
yeah, like memes. You'd be like, hey, I remember in class you said something about cats. Here's a cute picture of a cat.
Uh-huh.
And then you make friends virtually that way, you know.
That is, yeah, that's like the best way to make friends.
Send memes on
Send
Instagram.
memes. Yes. How to make friends. Send memes.
Yeah. If you're gonna take one takeaway, send memes.
Yes. Oh, speaking of, I guess we've talked a lot about making friends and stuff.
Mhm,
Um, how would you say like another worry is like academically, I feel like,
mhm.
like I think my main worries were like making friends, and then my second one was like, how do I do school? Like, how does school work in
Yeah,
university? You know?
because it's really different from high school. Like in high school, you have the same schedule every day. You go
Hmm.
to school from this time to this time, but like your schedule is different every day in university. And then when things are virtual, sometimes you have asynchronous classes, right? So
Yeah.
you don't have a Zoom thing. You just have to like complete this by whatever date. And so oftentimes you forget about it. But like, I don't know, like what was your approach at like just starting a new kind of school?
Yeah, I know when I was like, transitioning from like high school to university, I was like, what? Like, I was like, this looks like I have a very free schedule. Like, I only have class like twice a week for this one. I have 5 courses. Like, I have a lot of free time. And then I realized the reason why you have free time, you're supposed to be studying or doing work. Maybe you have a part-time job or clubs and stuff. Like, it gets busy, and I was like really shocked. And I think what really helped me, like I had an agenda for my first year, and I really liked using that to like write down my due dates and like what I need to do, and just kind of developing a to-do list. I know I've kind of changed my strategies after trying a lot out. I think your first year is kind of your time to try everything out, or like see if like, because not everything you do, whether it be studying or your organization strategies from high school, it's not all going to work.
Yeah.
So I think I've definitely changed. I use Google Calendar, like it's my life. Like Google Calendar has everything I need to do. And I also like to develop a weekly schedule of like where I need to be, like if I'm in class for Zoom, whether I have a meeting, because like I know virtually there's so many like meetings you have, or like things you need to attend virtually. So I like to know where I'm supposed to be, like online, I guess, or even
Yeah.
in person. So I think my main strategies, if I were to just summarize it, would be Google Calendar, weekly schedule, and if you want like agenda or to-do list.
Yeah. I'd say the
What
same
about
thing
you?
too. Yeah. Like, yeah, I'd say the same thing too. Like I had an agenda and I did that in high school too, but I liked having it even more in university because we got a syllabus. So
Yes.
like I remember going into university and being like, what is a syllabus? Like
Yes,
tell
me
you
too.
everything at once. So
Yeah.
like and the first week of class, if you're nervous about that, the first week of class is usually just like um, they your professors go through what the semester is going to look like when things are due, how much things are worth, and then you have like the next 4 months of due dates. So you can just go into your Google Calendar, like iPhone, Apple Calendar, and then you put in all the due dates, and
Yeah.
it's like that's like a worry that's eased, right?
Lifesaver. I think it might take a while during your first week to input all of that, but once you've got it down, that will save your life. That will
Mhm.
literally change everything.
Yeah. So yeah, I had it like in my phone. And then I had one of those whiteboard calendars that I got from the Laurier bookstore. And I
Yes.
had that on my wall and I just put all the due dates there and then yeah, an agenda, like an actual like handwritten one.
Hmm.
So yeah, like your study habits and like work ethic that you had in high school, um it may change, it may not. You may just like make adjustments to it, but like yeah, there's room for flexibility.
Yeah, I definitely think I kind of had to relearn how to learn, if that makes any sense. Like taking notes, like I don't think in high school you do that kind of a lot. You have to learn how to like take notes, whether it be like, do you prefer typing your notes, or do you like annotating, whether it be on like paper, you print out your slides, or maybe you have like an iPad or something. I think it like you get to kind of experiment with all of that note taking as well.
Yeah, like in high school, at least for me, it was mostly just like handouts that we
Hmm.
had to fill in. But
Yeah,
then in university, it's, you learn how you want to learn. There's a lot more room
exactly.
for you to do things how it works for you, which is really cool. Um, so yeah, and like on top of how you like to learn, um, there's also like where you like to do your work. So like you can work at
Yes.
home or you can go and you can study on campus. Wherever you feel like you focus better, you can always try out different techniques or different places to study or different people to study with.
Oh, I agree. What are some of the methods that you like to use when studying?
I remember in my first year on campus, I liked to study between classes. So I would go to campus and then say I had a class from like 8:30 to 11:30. I would go to that class and then from 11:30 to 2:30 when my next class was, I would prepare for that next class or do work that I need to do for that first class. So like blocking out certain times worked for me and having that planned out. I would also make to-do lists. So on Sundays, I would make to-do lists for Monday to Friday and then just try to follow it as best as I could. So if it was like an essay I had to write, um, and I need like 5 paragraphs, I do 1 paragraph a day so that I finish it by the end of the week and it's not like so overwhelming.
That's a
So
really good strategy.
that's what mostly worked for me, blocking out time and planning ahead and doing my best to stick to that plan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I think For me, I agree with the blocking out time. I loved studying on campus a lot. So I would do the same thing of like doing other coursework or preparing for the next class between my classes. And then I would like study. I would study for a long time on campus, and then I tried to like do like the least amount of work at home, just because like I kind of like tried to. I couldn't really work in my room, which was really funny because once the pandemic hit, I literally was doing everything in my room. So I really had to learn how to do work in my room. And now obviously I am able to focus in my room just by separating my rest space and my study space.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like to I don't really plan for the week like you do, Christina. I tend more to do like daily to-do lists. So like the night before I might plan. I also have this Trello thing. So it's like do you know
Trello.
Trello, Christina?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. Also Nilash, one of the Locus execs, he loves Trello and he introduced it to me. It just helps you like put in like to-do lists and like things you need to get done. You can put a due date and color code things. And I recently started using this in my third year actually, and it's helped me a lot. So if you're looking for like an application, I think also there's another one called, I don't remember what it's called. Was it I don't remember. It was something about like notes, which obviously.
Something like Notability, or is that an app?
Oh, that's an app. No.
Okay.
It's like
Tre-
the one that's really hard to use.
oh, I probably don't know what that is. Trello
Okay.
is
Yes.
Trello a website or is it a Google Chrome extension? I forget.
Oh, I use the app.
Oh, there's an
Like I
app too.
downloaded it like onto my laptop.
Oh, wait, that's so useful.
I think there is an extension though too, but yeah, I think Trello's really helpful. There's also something similar that I just can't remember the name to. Maybe if I'm editing, I will like say it out loud because I just Notion.
Notion,
Notion.
Notion.
Have you heard of Notion, Christina?
No, I haven't heard of that one.
Okay, Notion, also people like to do to-do lists or like write notes or something. Like I just sound like I think it's hard to use or like I just didn't get it, but a lot of people use that. So if you are interested, take a look at Notion. Are there any other apps that you like to use, Christina, or like things to download to stay organized?
Um, I know that Laurier does provide what is it called? Microsoft 365, right?
Yes,
For
yes,
free.
yes.
So take advantage of those resources because you can use Microsoft Word, OneNote, PowerPoint, Excel,
Calendar.
Calendar. Yeah, all of those things. It's free. I don't remember exactly how to get it and access it because I did that in my first year, like 2 years ago. But
You just need your email and you can
yeah, I think
download
so.
it once you, because actually all of our emails have moved to Outlook. So once you log into your Outlook email, you can go to like 365 and just download it.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I use OneNote. I know some people use it for to-do lists and such. I just use it for my notes, but OneNote is so easy to organize for me at least because you can
Yeah.
organize it into notebooks as if it was like a physical notebook, and then you have
Mhm.
pages too.
Use your folders, people. Like,
Yeah.
please organize your stuff into folders. It will help you. Like, I have like a whole folder like for my first year that's divided into more folders and more folders. Like, you can like look back at things or like if you need to, if like a course builds, maybe you can like look back on your notes from like the previous lecture or
Hmm.
like course. So organization, it's hard, but I think you kind of have to figure out what works for you.
Hmm. It keeps you on top of things too because sometimes it can get overwhelming, but when you have everything and you can like see it and it becomes like a tangible thing rather than just like a far away due date, then it becomes a lot like easier to handle.
For sure. And then like what do you think about like studying itself? Like I find it sometimes hard to get into motivation or like just getting to do something. Do you have things that like motivate you or like techniques that you like to use while studying?
I know that there's I don't know how you pronounce it, Pomodoro technique.
Mhm.
I don't remember what it is exactly, but I think it's you put like a 30-minute timer on or 25 minutes or something like that. You work for that short amount of time and you take a 5-minute break. and then you go back and you do another 25, and you do how many rounds that it takes you to finish. And then after you've done it a couple times, you realize how many rounds you need to complete a certain task. So like say you're doing readings for a class and you're like, oh, I need 2 rounds of the Pomodoro technique. So that one I haven't tried like strictly. I just kind of time myself to make sure I have breaks rather than working like 2 hours straight or something. But there's
Yeah.
that one. Yeah.
I actually use that technique
You
all the
do? Okay.
time. Yeah, no. Um, I find it hard to focus. So I just like start the timer. It's 25 minutes of studying and 5 minutes of break. I found that it helps me just because like it just helps me get started. I think the biggest thing for motivation is like just get started. There's this 5 minute rule. It's like tell yourself you're gonna do something for 5 minutes, and once you get to the 5 minutes, like you're gonna get into it kind of, and it'll be easier to start off.
Mhm.
If maybe you're procrastinating or putting things off. But yeah, I really like using Pomodoro to get me started. I know some people say it like breaks your concentration. So like you might not like 25 minutes is usually not enough time to get a lot like things done. So you might again have to do another round. But a similar technique is the power hour. So you study for like 45 minutes or like 50 minutes, take a 10-minute break or 15-minute break. That may give you more wiggle room. But yeah, I think just getting started is like one
Yeah.
of my biggest issues for motivation. But once you're there, you can just kind of focus on what you need to do.
Yeah. I'd say the same thing for me, getting started or like breaking concentration by picking up my phone. That's the one that gets me
Oh,
too. So like
yeah.
for that, I film time lapses of myself working.
I do that too.
Yeah, because
I saw
it
that on
keeps you.
TikTok. I
Yeah,
saw it on TikTok.
yeah, because it keeps you from reaching for your phone because you're like, wait, I want to see the recording after. I
It's
can't mess up the
so
recording.
satisfying.
Yeah, and then
Like
like
looking back.
yeah, if you film yourself like writing, or if you film your screen while you're typing something, and you see like, oh look, that's how much work I did, and it's like
Yes,
in a concise like 30-second like time lapse, but it's like over an hour of work,
exactly.
and you get more done than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like putting away distractions is so important, especially like with the virtual environment, because like everything's just at arm's reach kind of. So like I like even had to like just lock your phone into your drawer, or if you don't want to do your time lapse, right? Like put your phone in the kitchen or something like where you can't reach it, and like you'll be tempted to like kind of set yourself up for success by like making your environment, a pleasant place to study, or like having your water so you don't have to keep getting up and getting water, right? So kind of
Don't forget
you
to drink
see,
water.
everyone drink water break. I feel like we need to take
Mm-hmm.
a water break. Okay.
A water break.
Yes. So make sure you have everything at your study station so that you don't have to keep getting up and you can just kind of focus for that amount of time.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about like do you have any tips for creating a balance between like work or school and life? Because I feel like that's also hard to balance, especially when you're virtual.
I definitely agree. I think planning, I know like not everyone like likes to plan, but I think planning time for yourself or even to hang out with friends is really important. If you can plan your schedule for studying, you can plan time to have fun. So like, I don't know, like blocking out time and saying, okay, I'm gonna do like a self-care routine, whatever, on Friday at 7 p.m. Like that kind of has been helping me just because, especially with the online environment, there hasn't really been a separation between my school, my work. I also work online and even hang out with friends because I hang out virtually. But like when I schedule a time to just be alone and like do whatever I want, or like schedule a time where I'm going to Zoom call my friends and like play a game, I find that it's helping me a lot just because if I don't plan, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. And it's all on the same device too. It's
Hmm.
like all on your laptop, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about
Like
you, Kristina?
I think yeah, I'd say the same thing. Just like making sure that you do make time for yourself. Um and just like also discipline. so that because it'll be tempting to just like go and play a game or something or watch a Netflix show while you're on your computer doing work. But yeah, like scheduling time and just like making sure to keep yourself accountable.
Yeah, I mean, you can have it. You can have it all. Like you can have that balance. I think it really definitely comes down to like organization and time management and just, you know, university isn't all about grades and learning. It's about those relationships that you make, those memories and experiences that you make, getting involved or joining a club. So just keep that in mind and like have that good balance, like work hard and play hard at the same time.
Yeah. And then if you need help, there's also like so many school resources that you can take advantage of to help you even like create a schedule.
Yeah, for
Like
sure. Have you used any of those resources, Christina?
I haven't, but I've had friends that have, and they said that like it changed their life. Like
Mhm.
on like the Brantford campus, the Learning Skills and Development Center. I'm not sure if it's called the exact same thing on the Waterloo campus.
I think there's a similar, yeah, I think it's called the same thing as well. We have like I think there's different like resources if that makes sense of like what they're called.
Hmm. But I know that you can go within like the first month. You can even go whenever, but it's helpful to go in the first month of school. And you print out all your syllabi. I always want to say
Mhm.
syllabuses. You print out all your syllabi, and they help you create a schedule so that you can organize it if you feel like you have trouble planning ahead and doing that. So like
Mhm.
there's that school resource, there's like the writing center. They don't edit papers for you or anything, but they help you look over them. Have
I
you
thought
ever
they do
used the
edit.
writing center
I
or
thought they
anything?
do edit for you, or like they help you edit.
Like I don't think like they go in and look at it like revise it, but they like
Mhm.
guide you through it.
Yeah, well, I've used the writing center to help me like kind of edit and like reword things kind of.
Mhm.
On the Waterloo campus, I think like it's usually an upper year student, maybe like a grad student or an upper year undergrad student, and they've kind of helped me like communicate my ideas maybe or just like um edit like what I've written already to kind of make sure that it makes sense. So whatever you really need for the writing center, if you need help writing something, go to the writing center. It's called the writing center for the reason. And that's obviously available on both campuses too.
Yeah.
Hmm. I know I've used what you're talking about with like the time management on the Waterloo campus. I think I'm a pretty decent organizer, but I was just curious like if they had a different strategy for me. I tried everything in my first year, I feel like.
That's good.
Yeah, I was just like, I just wanted to. So they taught me, I use this actually now, but they taught me how to block off time and like schedule my time. So I have a weekly calendar. I have like the from 8:30 to like 12, right? Like where I am and what I'm doing, I like schedule that in. And then they said like if you don't have class on that day, you can like work on it on the off day. So if you have class on Mondays and Wednesdays, you can review on the same day, but then like also maybe if you have an assignment or whatever, you can block off time on the Tuesday to work on the assignment. And then on the days that you have class and you're just reviewing your notes or studying for whatever you need to, like the off days can be used for other things. So
Mhm.
I kind of learned how to schedule my time and also, if you're also feeling overwhelmed about it, about anything, learning consultants can help you. First year peer coaches, if you're procrastinating, they're designed for all the first years, as well as just the wellness center in general. They can help find you someone to talk to.
Yeah. Like I really what also drew me towards Laurier other than simply my program was like not only the community but how helpful the resources are here because Laurier really cares about their students
I
and they
definitely
yeah
agree. Yeah. Um, I think when I came here, I was overwhelmed with the amount of support, if that makes sense. Like
yeah
obviously there's not there's a lot and you may not use all of them, but just know that they're there for you.
yeah
I know I use like the math and stats center a lot. on the Waterloo campus because like it helps with all the math courses if you're taking any, and they're so helpful. Like if I had no idea what I was doing, there's also directed homework sessions. There's like extra sessions where you can just get an upper year student and you review course content and supplemental instruction on the Waterloo campus.
Mhm.
I'm actually an SI leader. Shameless plug. Go to SI sessions, get maybe bonus marks even for some classes. But yeah, I remember just being like feeling so welcomed and like supported in my first year.
Yeah. Like even with office hours with professors.
Mm-hmm.
Like in person, professors block out certain times where you can go and just like drop in and maybe talk about something you're learning in class or like a paper that you want them to look over or a mark you want to discuss. But then they also have it virtually. Because some of my professors in second year had virtual office hours where they just had like Zoom open and they're just
Mm-hmm.
chilling, waiting for people to come talk to them. And
Yes,
oftentimes they're waiting for people to come talk to them. So
they are.
go talk to them.
Guys, even if you don't have a question about class, I recommend just going there and establishing like a relationship. Like if you ask your professors about their research, I feel like they'd like be beaming and super happy to talk about their research. Like I feel like they're very passionate about, what they're researching. Maybe they're publishing a book right now. A lot of them like publish textbooks or publications. So like ask them about their research, ask them about their life. Or maybe even if they have any advice for you. But I know I don't think I really went to office hours in my first year. And then like later on I realized like I should, and that like it's very, very helpful. So I know it can be intimidating at first, but they're there to help you.
Yeah, they want you to succeed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, and like speaking of professors, this is like a piece of advice I was told starting first year that helped me. It's not for everybody because some people, like to just like stay at the back a little bit and not participate, but I'm a kind of person that likes to participate a lot. So, at the end of my first class of like every course, oh, sorry, I hit my microphone. I went up and I shook my professor's hand. This is like when you could actually have contact with people. And I
Yes.
shook their hand and I said, "Hi, my name is Kristina. Like, I'm excited to be in your class, whatever." And then they started remembering me by name. But that's also because Brantford classes are small. Like, the
Mhm.
biggest one I had was probably just like less than 100 people.
Okay.
But yeah, I think just like saying hi to them, in addition to
Exactly.
your classmates, saying hi to the professors.
Yeah, I remember seeing my econ professor walking his dog to campus. He like does that a lot. He also brings his dog to office hours. So if you wanted to see, I don't know, if your professor had a dog and you want to see the dog, visit them at office hours.
Nice.
Yes. Um, yeah, I mean, getting them to know your name, I feel like is really, really good. It not only like helps you, but it's just nice, like, I don't know, if you're answering a question and they can call on you by name, that's just, like, really nice to have, you know?
And also, you become more than just like another face in the crowd. When they are marking or TAs are marking, they like they know who you are, you know. So they're like, "Oh,
Exactly.
I feel like I know what this person is talking about or trying to say here," and it helps a
Yeah.
little bit.
Don't be afraid to ask questions either during lecture. I feel like there are a lot of times when, someone asks the question and most other people had the same question. Like, you would be very surprised, like, maybe you're not comfortable with saying it out loud and you might have the same question. And if you don't feel comfortable asking, that's totally fine. Maybe just go up to them after class because usually they stick around after class and you can ask them privately. And that way you're not, maybe if you feel nervous to say it in front of the class, or you'd rather just talk to them in person, you can just do that instead.
Yeah, like there are no stupid questions.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like
Seriously though.
yeah, like seriously. And like before we recorded this episode, Lee and I were talking about like on we have some brainstorms about what we wanted to talk about with starting off strong in your first year, and we put allowing yourself to feel intellectually uncomfortable because
Mhm.
everybody is there to learn.
Mhm.
So I remember going into one of my first classes and It was more science based, and I didn't take much science in high school. So I was like sweating. I was nervous. I was like, I feel like I don't know anything. I feel like everybody around me knows more than I do. And I'm worried about feeling like dumb or whatever. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's a university is a big change, and it's okay to struggle sometimes, and it's okay to ask questions because that's how you learn. And again, like taking advantage of those resources, talking to people, talking to your professors, like it's okay to feel uncomfortable sometimes.
For sure. And I think it's okay to struggle. I don't I feel like I haven't really met anyone that had like their own struggle during first year. It's very different. Like some people like they did really well in first year and like maybe they didn't have any issues and maybe you have a different experience where like you started off really great and it ended up being worse in the winter, whatever flip it can be flipped with like maybe in the fall you struggled but then you learned and you got your way and you were able to succeed a bit better in their second semester. But whatever it is, like everyone kind of goes through a different life cycle, the student life cycle very differently. So if you're struggling, just remember like there's probably someone else struggling and just because, you know, maybe you see like if they're like in like a lot of different things and maybe you're not even in a club or anything, that doesn't mean that your struggle is minimized, if that makes sense. Just because everyone has like a very different journey and just because like try not to compare yourself is I guess what I'm trying to say because you know everyone's program's different, everyone's doing different things in their life, maybe there's other factors as to why you may be struggling more than your peers or um, things that are just different. So just keep that in mind and be nice to yourself.
Yeah, be nice to yourself.
Be
That's a
nice to
that's a good
yourself.
one. Yeah. And like going back to how we're talking about how your study habits and work ethic can change, like you may see somebody that's like for like spends 8 hours in the library and is always studying, and maybe you're like, why can't I work that hard? It's
hmm
important not to compare yourself because you two work in different ways, and that's fine.
Exactly. I remember I am a very slow reader, and if I need to read a textbook, I take so long. And I remember my friends like they're like, "Did you do the reading or whatever and the questions or whatever already?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't." And then they'd be done in like an hour, and I'm sitting there for like 2 hours trying to read this whole chapter, right? And I'm like such a slow reader. Like my notes are so different, and just because it takes someone like a short amount of time to get the assignment or whatever done, like and maybe you have to chunk it in different methods, right? Maybe you have to do a little bit each day and you're working a bit harder than other people, but that is okay
Yeah.
because again, everyone works so differently.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like that's a really good place to end off. What do you think, Christina?
Yeah, like I feel like we talked about a lot. Like, I guess if we talk about main takeaways, everyone is nervous to meet new people. So just like put yourself out there, get involved, um, take advantage of the resources that Laurier has to offer and how nice the whole community is, really. Um,
And it's
and
okay to struggle. It's okay
yeah,
to ask for help and also um, feel a bit uncomfortable, but just know that you have support from everyone there, whether it be your peers, your professors, and then just like all the university resources. Awesome. Well, just to end it here, just I hope you guys enjoyed our first episode. I feel like we talked about so many different topics. Hopefully some that resonated you and you enjoyed kind of what we talked about. Um, and just make sure you follow our Instagram at Locus Laurier to keep up with all of our updates. Um, and also subscribe to our podcast. Give us a good rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to. And until next time, stay golden.
bye everybody.
Bye.